As someone who would consider Terraria one of my favorite games of all time, I'm honestly really sad to see updates coming to an end. Well, probably. But one thing with Terraria is that they have a lot going for them. Cross-platform is possibly on the way, and literally every platform imaginable has Terraria, so a lot of people are going to be able to play with each other. As well as that, everyone already has the game pretty much, because it's the number 13th best-selling game of all time. But instead of looking at what Terraria has going for it, I want to see what factors play into the death of Terraria. First, its final update. A standalone game with no updates simply just won't go well. Terraria does have tons of replayability, but it's not nearly as consistent and reliable as a game like Mario Party, and even that has 15 plus games to date. If the first Mario Party dropped on the Nintendo 64, and that was it for the series, way less people would be playing it anymore, even if they release it onto every new platform that Nintendo creates. Another major factor that could play into Terraria's downfall is how difficult it is to start. When you see that so many copies have been sold and how universally loved the game is, it's not hard to pick up after seeing a price of $5 during a Steam sale. So, with so many people owning the game, you would assume that most of them would put some time into it, right? If someone downloaded a game like, say, Fortnite, they would probably play at least one game, and even if they don't do that, they're probably going to look through the item shop, or look at the game modes, or see what crossovers are in the game, I don't know, take a look at the battle pass, who knows. Well, I wanted to provide some quick statistical information. What percentage of Terraria players do you think have crafted a workbench? Now keep in mind, this is something that most players that have put at least a little bit of time into the game would probably do in 30 seconds or a minute at most after creating a world. Got your answers? Alright, so the correct percentage is 59%. Only 59. 59% of people have created a crafting bench. A crafting bench. That's crazy. My friends that have barely ever played Terraria before, that I just said like, hey, download this game, and then they didn't like it and they hated the game and never played it again, have made a crafting bench. Now I do understand if somebody's playing with a friend and that friend makes a crafting bench for them and they just use that same crafting bench throughout the entire playthrough, but along with that, only 78.7% of people have survived the first night. That's something that you play for, I don't know, 15 minutes and it happens. Along with surviving the first night, only 86.7% of people have chopped down a tree. This is something that, like I said with the crafting bench, cutting down a tree is something that I'll do in the first 10 seconds. It's instinct. Other than maybe look at my goofy little character that I made, 10 seconds in is mostly when I'm going to be chopping down a tree. One of the most intriguing things that I found was that 54% of people have equipped a pair of wings, but what's crazy is that less people have obtained a boss summoning item, so basically they haven't really gone down into a cave and looted golden chests enough to find a suspicious looking eye, which is pretty likely. But even with that in mind, 10% less people have even killed the wall of flesh. So chances are, most of the people who have gotten wings have just gone into an all items world or talked to a friend, and they were given the wings for free. Another crazy one is that more people have defeated the Moon Lord than the Celestial Pillars. And by the way, the Celestial Pillars need to be killed in order to kill a Moon Lord, unless a similar situation happens with the wings, where a friend gives you a Moon Lord spawner, spawns in the Moon Lord, gives you free items, sort of takes you through the game for free. And to be honest, if you're given all the best loot right off the bat, you're kind of spoiled for the end of the game. You're probably not as interested in going through the game, seeing all the progression, and finding new cool items to experience. So all of that process of going through the game is kind of ruined for you, and you probably won't want to play the game anymore. But to be honest, that's about it. There's nothing going against Terraria that's stopping it from living on. I want to mention how we have no confirmation that Terraria is entirely over after 1.4.5 releases. Obviously, there will most likely be some hotfixes and small tweaks after the release, but we could definitely still see some more content added to the game afterwards. Now, I might be coping here, but the chance of seeing new content every year or so isn't out of the picture. Imagine if Logic decides to drop a new secret seed or weapon for an anniversary or other significant event, like the release of a new game. A good opportunity for a crossover could also allow for more content, because 1.4.5 ended up being way larger than expected due to a crossover with Dead Cells. Now, I don't really want this to drag on, because you're probably watching this just to find out when Terraria is going to die, how it's going to die, but there truly isn't a clear answer. Terraria player count averages have been steadily increasing from what most people consider the golden days of Terraria. Mod makers have been pumping out new mods and updating the popular ones. Terraria is dropping new merch consistently, and it's doing really well. Terraria content is staying strong. Cross-platform has been officially announced as a possible addition, as I mentioned earlier. A new crossover, obviously with Dead Cells, is on the horizon. Terraria won one of Steam's Labor of Love awards after over a decade, leading to a new update, and Logic will most likely start work on a new project in the foreseeable future. Terraria is no doubt not even close to being over. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I'm trying not to be drowned out by all of the cool math games videos, so if you could do that, I would be greatly appreciated. Have a good rest of your day. Bye bye.